Alrighty, what is going on? You're about to watch 90 minutes of a mastermind that we hosted in London. Now, in this mastermind, I covered everything sales. It was objections, full call script breakdown, Q&As, role plays. I even role played a pray on it objection, which was a little bit spicy and fun. And then at the end, we wrapped it up with some specific Q&As. In the room, we had business owners, we had sales reps, we had guys doing 10K a month, we had guys doing 20K a month, 50K a month, even managing offers doing well over multiple six figures per month. So we had all types of different people in the room. So yeah, without further ado, enjoy the next 90 minutes. We're going to learn how to sell today. So, what do you sell?
I sell mathematics teachers.
No, you don't.
No.
What do you sell?
Marketing agency services.
No, you don't. What do you sell?
Consulting.
Consulting? Okay, what do you sell?
Confidence.
That's better. What do you sell?
The ability to speak Italian.
Closer. What do you sell?
Scalable system.
No. Okay, so I'm being harsh on purpose so it sticks because I want you guys to feel things today. When you feel emotion, it's going to allow you to remember it. And I've gone to a lot of masterminds, a lot of events, and what always happened with me is I'd take all these notes, I'd write everything down, and the minute I left, I'd forget. The only things I remembered were things that made me feel a certain way. So I might trigger you guys a little bit, but I do it on purpose because I want you guys to actually take something from this event, okay? So when I say no, you don't sell mathematics or you don't sell marketing, what you actually sell is the result of those things, okay? So for example, with marketing, what are the sort of people that you typically help with marketing?
What I help them with?
Yeah, no, your clients, like who are these people?
Like coaches.
Yep, okay. So you teach them to market themselves to get,
Clients, yeah.
which helps them,
Make more money.
which helps them,
Grow their business.
okay, they grow their business, they make more money, which helps them,
Because some of them fulfills their purpose, because more clients they want help.
yep, yep,
They life to more freedom.
yep. They get choice, which improves the people around them. It could improve their families' lives. If they improve their families' lives, who does that improve? The community and the world. So one thing I'm going to start off with today is I think a lot of you guys in your forms, you put certain things, but all it really stems from is a mindset thing that we can change. When I say mindset, I don't mean like, you know, woo-woo, like sell to help people and blah, blah, blah. We all want to make money, but you can still link making money to helping the world become a better place, okay? One of the quotes I learned from my mentor is, my certainty will always overcome their doubt, okay? So whatever you guys sell, whatever it is, if you're on a sales call or you're doing it through your content like YouTube, like Oscar touched on, if you can link it to them buying your program, your service, whatever it is you sell, to the world becoming a better place, all of a sudden it's not me against the prospect's objections or against their fear or against their doubt. It's me and the world overcoming that doubt, which is a lot more powerful. That's why for me, like I take sales calls for my offer. I can objection handle for an hour, 2 hours if I need to. The calls it could run for 2 hours, 3 hours total, right? The reason I can do that is because it's me and the world overcoming this person's doubt. Because I know that if I help them sell better, they'll make more money, change more people's lives, their life improves, they get more choice, their family's life improves, the community around them improves, and thus the community improving helps the world become a better place, okay? That's in my mind, my certainty on them buying my program for whatever I'm charging, okay? So that's what I wanted to start with, okay? Is you're not selling maths, you're not selling marketing, you guys are selling the world becoming a better place. And there's a few steps in between. Even for learning Italian, that could seem super basic. Oh, I'm just teaching them to speak Italian. What you're really helping them do is go to another country and speak a language that's going to help them form better connections, maybe friendships. They can meet their love of their life because they speak Italian, which helps their entire life change. Like that's huge, and it's just a language. So that's what I wanted to start with, okay? There's three main mindset things that I want to touch on. So one is conviction. And by the way, my handwriting is terrible. I usually type, so forgive me. Congruency and framing the problem, okay? So when I say conviction, what I mean by that is kind of what I touched on, selling yourself on why you should sell the person that you're talking to, okay? So I know I touched over here, Who currently like takes sales calls actively? Okay, sweet, quite a few. Does anyone have salespeople take the calls for them? One, okay, sweet, cool. Now, who sells maybe like B2B? So you're selling to businesses, maybe multiple stakeholders, right? A lot of us put labels sometimes like, oh, we sell B2B. No matter what you sell, you're selling to people. So this stuff is going to apply no matter what you sell, okay? So in terms of conviction, okay, it's really just understanding that them fixing their problem is going to help them improve their life and help the world around them, kind of what we touched on before. Now, the second thing is congruency. Who has an idea of what congruency means, or your own version?
Your words and your actions being aligned.
Yep. Okay. Words and actions being aligned. Yep. What else?
Being the same person to your customers as you are.
Yep.
Doing the same things that you're asking your prospects to do.
100%. Yeah, all of those. So if I sell, a few people sell fitness coaching here, no? I think, yeah. So if you sell fitness coaching, right, this is an easy example. If someone's, not making time to go to the gym or to prepare their food or whatever it is, and the prospect gives them a time objection, like, oh, I really want to lose this weight, but I don't have the time. Like, how can you overcome that? Because you agree with them subconsciously, right? Just like if you always are looking for the free things, right? The cheapest things online, and you charge 10K for your program, and they're like, oh, why can't I just find it for free? It's like you have no chance of handling that because you do the same thing in your own life. So when I say congruent, it's not just about like spending all your money and then you're congruent. That's not what I mean. What I mean is what you ask people to do, you do yourself in your own life, okay? So if it's fitness, that's an easy example, but it could even be things like making decisive decisions promptly, okay? So me personally, I make decisions very quick. As soon as I have all of the information I need, I make a decision. It could be a shit decision, it could be a great decision, but indecision is the worst decision of all time. And I truly believe that. So if someone gives me a think about it objection, I am not ending that call on a think about it. We're gonna find out like what that thing is, and maybe I lose the deal. You can't close everyone, but I just don't agree with that in my DNA. So I will not accept that objection. If we always delay things in our own life, we sit on things, we ponder, we sit on our thinking chair, like you can't handle these objections, okay? So that's congruency. Any questions so far, by the way? I'm gonna make this interactive. I know I've started off just talking at you guys, kind of get your attention, but I do wanna interact. We're gonna do some role plays. Yep.
If someone says, I need some time to think about it.
Yeah.
What do you say?
You want a role play?
Yeah.
Okay, what do you sell?
I sell like something similar to Oscar, like YouTube growth, group coaching.
Fantastic.
Coaching program.
Okay, sweet. So you be the prospect, I'll be the sales guy,
Okay.
and tell me you need to think about it.
Okay. Yeah, it sounds interesting, but I don't know if I've got like enough money. I think I need to just think about it for a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, no stress at all. Like in terms of the program itself, like does that actually align with what you're wanting though? Because that's the most important thing for me.
Yeah, it sounds interesting.
Okay. Well, what do you feel actually aligns with it, just from your perspective?
I think the coaching calls could be particularly helpful.
In what way?
To get just feedback on my videos
Okay.
and stuff like that.
And getting that feedback, like what would that help you with in the business?
Probably just get more views and then ultimately just make more money.
Yeah. Okay.
Sell more of my courses.
Yeah. And how much do you charge per client?
So I just have a $300 course.
Okay.
Self-paced.
Yeah. Okay. And if you were able to learn those things and get the feedback, what do you see that doing for the business financially?
Well, I mean, if I could get more views, then and just improve the funnel. Want to go from kind of 4K a month, maybe try and hit my 10K a month goal.
Mm-hmm. And if you were to get to 10K a month as a result of having that feedback,
Yeah.
would 5K be worth it to you?
I mean, yeah.
Okay. Why would it? Because it's aside from the program, I know you mentioned the reasons the program would help,
Yeah.
but you actually investing 5K, it's not a tiny amount of money.
Yeah.
Even if you knew you'd get the result, why would that be worth it to you?
Even if I knew I'd get the result.
Yeah, even if you knew it would get you to 10K a month,
Yeah.
why would a 5K investment be worth it?
I guess I'd take it more seriously if I was put some invested in the program.
Yeah.
Okay. And if you took it more seriously, what would that help you do?
Yeah, take action faster. Actually, change things, experiment. Yeah.
and make more money,
Yeah.
right? And like the money being an issue, like that's probably part of the reason you're here, right? Because you want to make more money. Okay, so like what do you feel you need to do as a business owner to put yourself in the best position possible to make more money?
I guess in this example, like, I need to figure out, how to kind of like, or sell more courses basically, sell more of my course, make more videos.
Do you see this helping you do that?
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you feel like you need to do?
That's like, that's,
You sure? You don't have
Yeah.
to. I'm not pulling a gun to your head, but what do you feel puts you in the best position?
But yeah, like taking action.
Okay.
That's the program.
How?
Yeah. What do you mean?
How do you take action on this? Right? So you can see where we're going,
Yeah.
right? Now,
Yeah.
in a role play, that might come a bit quicker, it might take
Yeah.
longer, you might have more objections, but that's how I do it. Now, I'm going to break that down
Okay.
because that was pretty quick. But just off the bat, just from your guys' perspectives, like what did we notice in that role play?
You're asking all the questions and you're making them think that it's their idea to join and that it's not you just pushing them into the decision.
I'm going to touch on the language you use because I really like the way you described that. It's very interesting. But yes, I asked questions. I had him tell me. What else did we notice?
You reframed it as an investment rather than a cost as well. So you made him think, okay, you put down this 5K today, what's the ROI going to be on that? So got him to reaffirm what the 5K is going to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're basically just doing the shimmy, really.
The shimmy? How do you mean?
Like, know when they're all like
Yeah.
and then you go back.
Yeah.
And really, you're just seeing if he shimmies forward, then you know it's something he wants. Because you don't want to sound something no one wants anyway.
Yeah.
And if they're shimmying forward, they're giving you reasons. You're just allowing them to come to you.
Yeah.
So that you can get out their own way.
Exactly. All I see me as a salesperson as is a facilitator. I'm helping facilitate a decision. What old sales tactics used to look like is like Jordan Belfort, right? The Boiler Room. You watch these movies and that's in people's mind. Like anyone who's not like super familiar with like modern sales, you say, hey, what do you think of sales guys? They think a twat, to use English terms, okay? Like no one likes sales guys. Like real estate agents are like probably the only people they hate more than sales guys, okay? So to change that, I want to, if everyone's selling that way, if everyone's learned tactics from the 80s, or it's pushy, it's aggressive, you feel like an ick when you're the prospect, I want to do the opposite. How do I get this to be their decision? How do I facilitate the answers I want without telling, but having you realize? Because that's when we're most persuasive. And again, I'll break this down more in terms of like the structure and how I do this on a full call. But that's how I see sales. It's me getting the answer I want in a way where, like you said, they feel like it's their own. And it is their own, truly. But I'm helping facilitate that. Yeah?
I have a quick follow-up.
Yeah.
If you said you don't think about it as an objection.
Yeah.
So does that mean you're willing to push to the point where they say, like, no, there and then, rather than give them like a day or two to think about it?
I would rather that.
Rather than.
I would rather that. But the word push, again, is interesting.
Or like get them to make that yes or no.
Yeah.
Ultimately, like a final decision on
Yeah.
the call.
Well, the way I look at it is like uncover. It's
Yeah.
like an onion,
Yeah.
right? The surface level on the onion, the wrapping or whatever it's called, is the think about it.
Yeah.
But really, what they're thinking about, that's what I want to handle. And we may come to the conclusion after me objection handling that, hey, this program's not for them, or they're not going to make a decision because of some other reason, or they don't have the money. But if I'm going to end the call and not, help them get across the line, it's because of a reason. I think about it, again, I just don't believe a think about it's real. I just don't agree with that way of thinking, so I can't accept that.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So obviously in the simulation you see that you're asking lots of questions and the prospect gives you lots of time. Now probably there are lots of real life situations where they're like, look dude, I'm going to think about it. I don't want to answer any more questions.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you kind of glue together the ideal simulation with like real world example of somebody, let's say, not willing for you to ask these questions, but maybe still has the potential that if you go through these questions, then you can sell.
Yeah. It's going to sound like a cop-out, but I can't remember the last time that's happened to me. Now, if that does happen, I would say it's an upstream issue, By upstream issue, I mean if you've gotten to the end of the call and that's the level of resistance they give you, there's something you've done or not done earlier in the process, or even potentially the marketing that's causing that. That's why what Oscar touched on in terms of YouTube is so important. Because if you can nurture these leads and really get them to know, like, and trust you, and they see you as the authority, then they get to the sales call and you sell the way I'm about to teach you guys, that's a match made in heaven. You do need both. Marketing and sales both come in. I could be the best sales guy in the world, but if I get a lead that, you know, has never heard of Oscar or heard of yourself and they just jump onto the call looking for more info, it's going to be pretty hard to close that guy on that one call if they've never seen your face before. That's where marketing does its job. Yeah. Does that help?
Yeah, thank you.
Cool.
I have a quick.
Yeah.
I don't exactly know what the question is, but it's just general thoughts I'd love to hear from you.
Yeah.
So sometimes I think it's because I know like how the sales process goes, like objection handling, that because I have that knowledge, I feel like I'm seeing the Jedi mind trick.
Yeah.
And I think for people who are on the sales call, if they don't know it, they probably don't realize, right? But for me, I feel like almost icky. It feels like, this feels almost disingenuous to kind of be pushing someone. Because it feels almost like, maybe this is just me, but when I have tried that in the past with people,
Yeah.
the sales call feels more like I'm talking to them like a child. Where it's like, if you do this, you'll get that, right? And then that means you'll make this amount of money.
Yeah.
And you're kind of like almost trying to put words into their mouth. And I know friction that a lot of sales guys come up with those types of individuals is the individual then feels uncomfortable, which then can sometimes make them say no, which maybe that's the good thing then that you get the answer. But for me, I don't know, I just feel, for example, I had a sales call last week with a guy, we start at 10K and the bottom is 1K. And for him, mostly it was around money.
Yeah.
I just had, towards the end of the call, he basically says, I recently just got a mortgage, I just had a baby. So money is like kind of important. Maybe shouldn't have been on the call, right? Could have pre-qualified him earlier. But if it gets down to like $1,000 a month, which he was more open to, I still didn't want to sell him because I felt like I could do the Jedi mind trick, but my sort of, again, this is probably like a me thing, but my sort of self-worth and ickiness of like convincing someone did not feel worth selling over $1,000.
Yeah. So there's two things there. So you kind of touched on like selling to people who maybe know the tactics, like if I was selling to you, for example, and then you also touch on like feeling icky towards the end and maybe like pushing someone, right? So there's two things I want to touch on. One is like your internal beliefs that's causing you to feel ickiness, because that's all it can be. There's some way you feel about those tactics and doing it that has you feel internally that that's wrong, which causes you to feel that ick, which prevents you from actually holding them accountable. So that's one. Then we can talk about the tactics. Just to give me context, what do you actually sell? What's your offer?
Similar to Tintin.
Okay, amazing.
YouTube.
I've actually sold Oscar's offer for him, so I know that offer niche very well. So two things. In terms of the beliefs, the people that are coming to you, if they work with you, do you help them make more money?
Yes.
Okay. So you used the mortgage example before, right? Which is very easy to feel like I'm a good person if I let this person leave and not pay $1,000 a month because they have a mortgage. But I don't believe that. Now, if you believe that, it's going to be hard to handle that objection. But I don't believe that, because if you truly believe you can help them make more money, then them having to pay $1,000 a month to their mortgage is the exact fucking reason to do the program, because you help them make more money. So if they have these bills or these things coming up, and you don't hold them accountable to get across the line and make a decision with you and join your program, does that help the person?
Yes, it does.
How?
Well, they get the result.
No, if they don't.
Oh, if they don't?
Yeah.
Then they don't get the result. So they stay in the current state.
Yeah. And so every time we leave these objections, we don't hold them accountable to making a decision and to joining your program. That's what we're leaving on the table. Not just for you, but also for them. And again, that's what I touched on before in terms of like, it's me and the world against their doubt. So they have this fear that, hey, what if I invest $1,000 a month and I don't start making more money? I don't start getting results. But you guys both sell coaching programs. So ultimately, you can give everything in the world to these people, but who's the one that's actually implementing it?
Yeah, I think it's the. I think, like I said, I think it's because I don't have like a ton of sales experience in kind of like objection handling.
Yeah.
But it's almost like you're a counselor, you know, like for them it's mindset beliefs that they
Yeah.
have that you're trying to help them get over. And I guess it's just, I don't feel like I have enough experience at this stage to be like, I know exactly the things that I need to say
Yeah.
to get them to be like, okay.
Well, that's the tactics, but it has to start from belief. Because, so when I coach, I always start with belief, because I can give you the exact wording, the exact objection handling script that I might use, but if you internally disagree with what you're saying, it's not going to come across well. And people are smarter than we give credit for. Like, they can feel energy. They can feel your intent. That's why I can get away with saying some pretty wild shit on sales calls, because my intent is right, and people can feel that. So I can say some things that might, if you just isolate the words alone, you might read it in text without context and be like, damn, that's pretty harsh, it's pretty brutal. But the person can feel on the other end that I'm doing it for them, not to them. And it's me and the prospect working together. So I would say for you, a lot of it probably stems from those beliefs. And it's not just you that maybe don't have as much experience. Even guys that have taken, I coach guys that have taken over 500 sales calls. They've got the experience, but their beliefs are still off.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think it's the different type of individual. So
Yeah.
for context, for 3 years I've done one-to-one consulting
Mhm.
on YouTube.
yeah,
And it's big people. And so for them, it's quite easy to sell them.
Mhm.
I think because, especially the entrepreneur types, because they understand it as an investment.
yeah,
Whereas recently I went more to like a group coaching. So I have one-to-one and group
Perfect.
coaching. Group coaching, you end up with the creators who aren't making money.
yes.
Who have all of these limited beliefs around making money from their own YouTube channel.
Mhm.
And so I think, yeah, it's a different type of individual that I'm now dealing with, which
Yeah.
is why the sales calls need a different approach.
Yes, I agree. And I'll probably move on after this, but I agree so much that yes, it is a different sale. If you're selling to Dan Martell, for example, like let's say you're speaking to him or his team, that's going to be a different sell to, you know, someone that's making 4K a month and they want to make their first 10K a month with YouTube. It is going to be different. But again, I would just argue that them not getting over those beliefs is not only not going to help them, but it's going to, it's just not going to help the world become a better place. And that's the internal belief I have. You know, as long as your program's actually good, which you guys seem like nice gentlemen, I'm sure they are, right? I have no reason to believe it's not. So, yeah.
I've got a question.
Yeah.
Quickly. And also, I had that exact same thing. Not quite like that, but I kept feeling like I was speaking about something with them when I switched to coaching, actual fitness coaching, because fitness coaching felt so relevant to going to beliefs. And then they had hopped on the call to get advice about business, and then I'm going into their beliefs. It felt really wrong. Then I realised, like, okay, what's actually stopping their business? Because if anyone applies themselves, even if they don't have the perfect mentorship or don't have anything, they're eventually going to be successful. Like, we've all hustled and found a way to get there, and that's just come from applying ourselves. So the actual thing that's stopping them is applying themselves. Now I go into every call like that, and I don't give a fuck about, like, handling their beliefs. That was really helpful for me because I had the same thing. The main question I have for you is you put it's me and the world against them.
Mm-hmm.
So
Against their doubt,
against their doubt.
not against them. But yeah.
Isn't that then labeling everyone with doubt? What about if doubt isn't the actual root cause?
What do you mean?
Isn't that labeling them with doubt? What about if doubt isn't their root cause of why they're not?
What could be another cause? I know I put you on the spot, but
No, I'm just thinking because that then would mean I go into the call thinking everyone has doubt, which then doesn't allow me to be as open if I go into the call just thinking about what is
right.
that person's
So I don't start off the call assuming that everyone has doubt. I'm also touching on objections here. So when I say doubt, it could be doubt in themselves doing the work. It could be doubt in the program working for them. It could be doubt that they believe they're even worth making whatever they want to make. Like when I say doubt, that's what I mean, and particularly in objections. But I definitely don't start the call assuming that they have doubt. I'll touch on this in a second, but like assumptions are not your friend in sales.
That's what I was thinking. So
Yeah.
it's you and the world basically against whatever's stopping you.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then it's I like the concept, but I don't really understand when you say world. Like, how do you apply that? It's you and the world, because it makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
Because That way, they don't feel like it's, because the program doesn't matter at the end of the day. Pretty much all programs do work. Like if you do them correctly, is my
Yeah.
belief. It's them taking action.
Yeah. So let's say this is me, okay? And I sell XYZ to person. Yeah, I'm a visual person. And this person, aka the prospect, gets these things, which helps them improve their life. If someone's life improves, just with butterfly effect, I truly believe that all the people around them, I'll just draw this to make it quick, all they improve as well. And if everyone else improves, that has a compound effect, where eventually, in my mind, the whole world becomes a better place. That's my belief. So when I say it's like, this is the outcome of them joining the program here. I know the drawing's terrible, but you can see where I'm going. So I say me plus the world against their doubt, their beliefs that might hold them back. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but I don't quite understand because that's more your belief. Like your belief's the fact that they will change, that will help other people, that will change their family, that will change their kids' friends because their dad's happier, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
All that stuff. But how does that apply against them on the call when you feel like...
Well, if they don't improve their life, in my mind... Yeah, I mean, obviously it's not that drastic, right? If a guy doesn't sign up to a fitness coaching program, obviously the world's not going to crumble, right? But,
it is true. I have people that I know that they were going to get divorced now that they're not and they've had kids and they're very happily married because of fit coaching.
Yeah.
So it definitely does change the world. I'm just thinking about how to apply that because my belief on the call is the most important thing for me. That changes everything.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking about how to actually I can apply that.
It's not necessarily something you apply in terms of what you say. It's a belief that you have, which will then filter how you deliver other things. So when I say beliefs and tactics, you need the tactics as well, which is what you say. But the tactics are only going to land if your beliefs line up. Yeah. So it's not something you have to apply per se. It's something you keep in your mind that you will apply through the tactics.
Yeah. Or almost like if you know that you're doing it for the world, you're happy to go that one extra step, take that really uncomfortable question, because if you don't, this affects all the butterfly effect.
Yes. Assuming the program's right for them and you truly believe the program will help them. That's in the back of my mind as I'm doing this. Yeah.
It's more like you could probably reframe it and say it's you and your conviction that joining this program has the ability to change this person's life and the world around them and the world in general.
Yes.
If that helps to reframe, instead of you and the world, me and the world helping this person through their doubt.
Yeah, you could put it that way as well.
It's you and your conviction that you have that it will work.
Yes.
The more you believe it, the easier it is for you to sell it, essentially. The easiest way to think about it, I think, is, everybody in this room has experienced this. When your business is doing well, you're not the only one who benefits. Everybody around you does, your parents, your kids, your spouse, or whatever it is. I think it's much easier to sell. I've done loads of sales jobs over the years. It's really easy to sell when you truly believe in the product. And when you don't, it's shit. It's terrible.
Yeah, been there. Especially with coaching programs, right? A lot of us as coaches or as a business owner, we can feel a lot of weight of responsibility to get these people results. But something I've realized selling coaching for the last 5 years, including my own for the last 12 months, is that you can only do so much, right? You can give people the best workout plan, the best diet plan, you can give them everything they need, but they've still got to do it as well, right? And I'll frame the sales call in that sense as well. That's kind of what Ned touched on before in terms of responsibility. I'm a very empowering, I have a very empowering way of selling. What I mean by that is I don't believe that them getting the result is not inside their control. I believe them getting the result comes down to them. It doesn't come down to me. I obviously want to deliver the best service possible, but at the end of the day, it comes down to them to actually match me. With coaching at least. Done for you is different. I think I saw in a lot of forms, other things that stemmed in terms of mindset as well, where oftentimes when we get on sales calls, we might feel a little bit awkward or not as confident or not ourselves. We feel like we're selling something. Maybe we have an ick as well. Or we might even feel I used to sell to guys that were making way more money than me. When I was 20 years old, I was selling to, you know, e-com guys that were doing 500K a month with their business. And here I am taking a call in my, you know, dad's bedroom. It's like, how do you sell to people that are above you, in a sense? But what you got to realize is it's not, like you as a person, it's kind of like dehumanizing, but on a sales call, you don't really matter. They matter. They're the one you're speaking to. So what I come back to is like, the problem that they're fixing, who has it? Layup question. Yeah, them. They have the problem, right? So if they have the problem, just like when you go into a doctor's office, the doctor's not justifying to you and saying, yeah, you really need this medication because of X, Y, Z, before they've asked you any questions. Like, we want to find out, okay, what's the problem they have? How's it impacting them? And then, if suitable, we'll offer them a solution. But they have the problem, and that's the frame I come from. Any questions? Cool. All right. In terms of framework, so for those of you that are actually taking sales calls, this will be a lot more relevant. And then if you're doing like one-to-many sales, it's sort of in the copy that you're writing it in and that you're speaking in. You can sort of use this framework as well. So I call it CLOSE. C-L-O-S-E. So C is current situation. We got L for learn, O for overview, S for solve, and E for exhaust, okay? So there's obviously nuance in this, and on the sales calls, like, context is everything. It can go so many different ways depending on what people say, but this is the overall structure that I use. So current situation is like, where are they at right now? So if I'm selling fitness, how much do they weigh right now? If I'm selling YouTube coaching, what's the current strategy that they're using with YouTube? How are they currently trying to get views? How are they currently trying to grow their business? If I'm selling, you know, to get into Oxford, what's their current study routine? Like what's their current strategy to get into Oxford? What's their current marketing strategy? Okay, pretty basic. In terms of learn, this is more so learning like, where do they want to go? So what's their goal, essentially? For some, it might be making their first 10K a month online. For others, it might be scaling from, you know, 100 to 500K a month, if you're speaking to bigger businesses. For others, it might be get more leads so that they can make more money, so that X, Y, Z. So what do they want? What's the goal? Okay, that's the gap. Then overview is essentially their buying patterns. How do these people buy? This one is the most complex, so I'm going to give a rough overview, but if you have questions about it, you can always come to me after as well. Buying patterns is essentially like, what stopped this person from fixing the problem? How do they make decisions typically? Are they someone who makes decisions quickly? Have they looked at other programs in the past and not done anything? Have they gone with other programs and maybe they've been burned? So maybe that affects their decision making today. That's this whole section. How does the person I'm speaking to buy? Because, question for you guys, if we know how someone typically makes decisions, what does that allow us to do?
Shift their beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
Help them make the decision.
Yeah.
Tailor your pitch.
Yeah, tailor the pitch, yeah. Because like if someone makes decisions this way and another person makes decisions this way, I'm not going to sell to this person the same way. I'm going to sell them differently. That's where a lot of people think it's just the script that gets people good at sales. I would argue the most important skill that a good salesperson has is the ability to shift the conversation in a way that suits the prospect they're speaking to. They can tailor it depending who they're talking to. So that's overview. Solve is just getting really deep on their positive future. So this is like what they want, why they want it, who it'll impact, whose life it'll make better, what it'll do for them personally. That's where you can get a lot of positive emotion from people. And exhaust is the exact opposite of that. It's negative future. It's like, what happens if they don't fix this problem? If they don't learn YouTube and they don't get to 10K a month because they don't have the right skills, what does that do to them? If they don't fix their lead gen and they aren't able to get as many clients because they don't have the right skills, what does that cause? Any questions on that structure as a whole?
Is that chronological, like roughly speaking in the call?
Roughly, yeah. Sometimes you'll go back and forth. Sometimes you get a piece of information there and there, but roughly that's chronological. And there's a reason for that, because this especially is where you'll get positive and negative emotion. People buy emotionally, they justify with logic. So I want to get them emotionally primed right before the pitch, and then the pitch is the logic that backs it up. Yep.
For B2B calls, I find like compared to B2C, they tend to be a little bit less emotional,
Yes.
a little bit more logic driven.
Yep.
So one thing that I'm kind of like still unsure about is about that like future pacing and how obviously with B2C you can get very emotional, very excited in that like desire state. But when
Yeah.
you move into B2B, how do you kind of like get that state but with like more of a logical kind of structure?
Yeah. So just what do you sell for context?
I sell like scaling systems for businesses.
Okay, cool. So you would start off with like logical, tangible things that would improve. So for example, if they get the systems, what does that, you speak to them more than I do, what does that help them do within the business?
Scale in terms of revenue, but also they get time back.
Okay, cool. And so then having more revenue and more time, what does that allow them to do?
I guess live a kind of more in control lifestyle that they choose.
Yeah. And so emotion doesn't have to be them like physically excited and smiling. It doesn't have to be them like teary. When I say people buy emotionally, what I mean is like even like this Celsius drink, right? Like me purchasing that, there's emotion founded in that. Because I picture myself sipping it when I'm thirsty and I go, oh yeah, that'd feel good. That'd feel good. That's an emotion. But I justify it, oh, it's £5 or whatever it is here. It's quite expensive in London. Maybe it's more. But the emotion and then the logic, that leads me to buy the Celsius. So even for these guys, yes, I agree. They're not going to get as emotional as a B2C, but there's still emotion founded within the logical gap that you're filling. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Orlando,
Yes.
I have followed different frameworks. I've never really followed scripts because I found that it's horrible to follow a script. But I do quite in-depth, like very belief-based closing, kind of like you're talking about.
Yeah.
And I always find I'm always off framework, and my calls can be way too long. How do I? It's something I've asked other people. But
It's really simple.
do you have any ideas?
Yeah. So every question that you ask in all of these sections, you have to know why you're asking the question and what answer you want. So for example, if I'm asking a future pace question in positive future, the answer that I want is first tangible things that would be different about their business or their life. So it could be money, time, location freedom, choice, whatever it is, those are the tangibles. Then it's specifically within those tangibles, like, so for example here, let's say they say time, money, location. Then within this, where do they want to travel to? Okay, Bali. How much do they want to make? 10K a month. They want more time for their kids. Okay, cool. That's a bunch of tangibles. Then it's like being able to X, Y, Z, what would that mean for the person? And that's the emotion. So I know very clearly in my mind what I want from the questions that I'm asking. Now, the way that's going to help you stay on structure and stay on track on the call is every single question you ask, if they're going off and talking about China or talking about something random, and it's off what you're asking about, it's off the answer you want, then that's when you need to redirect them.
How do you cut somebody up respectfully in a sales call? Because yesterday I had
Yeah.
this guy,
Yeah.
he wanted to get into sales, right, in a
Yeah.
appointment setting. And he kept telling me about his life story, about how he smoked so much weed in university.
Yeah.
And I just kept saying to him, like, okay, let's not focus on what's happened in the past, but focus on what we can control now.
Yeah.
And he kept referring back to that same thing of, I smoked so much weed, I think that my family. I'm like, bro, let's talk about what actually is.
Yeah. It was probably high on the call. So there's a bunch of different ways to interrupt. My favorite is to turn into a grime artist. So like, I just stutter. So like, so someone's rambling, right? They're just rambling. Sorry. When you say, like if I'm selling over Zoom, right? Because there's a bit of a lag. So I just stutter my way into a conversation. So just start rambling. Start talking about weed and how you smoke in high
I've
school.
done the time out.
You can do that too.
They actually got like, what is going on? Like, because they're in this whole process when they're like this, they're getting closer to the camera, and then you go, time out a second.
Yeah.
And then you refer back to a really key point, and they're just like, what? And then they come out with all the yap, and then
That's another really good one. Yeah. The key is when you interrupt, you've got to follow it up with a question straight away. You can't just like interrupt and then stay silent, otherwise they'll fill it. So you can stutter. That's what I typically do. That's my go-to. If you're selling over Zoom and they can see, sorry, like time out for a second. You can do that. That's a good one. There's some really, like you can get creative and fun with it. Like if you've got a mic, you can tap the mic. Sorry, is this working? You can do that. You could, randomly turn your screen off for a second, be like, wait, what? And then just like turn your screen off, and they just stop talking.
I have a random question for you.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is too aggressive.
Yeah.
If someone is looking to the side all the time,
Yeah.
I'll be like, and I know, I'll just be like, is there a hot chick? A photo of a hot chick on your desk, or like,
Yeah.
what's going on?
Yeah.
And then they'll pay attention. But it's
Yeah.
quite an aggressive way of getting them to pay attention.
If it's like B2C, then yeah, I don't mind that. It depends, like you
Or-
can do
or I'll
that.
just make it relevant based on the person. If it's like
Yeah.
a cocky guy, that's how I'll do it.
Yeah.
If it's like someone else, I'll be like, it's like something on your desk.
Yeah.
And then bring them in, but it feels like I'm being like,
I usually just say, hey, is everything okay? And like, oh yeah, what's up? Oh, I just noticed like you keep looking to the left. Like, are you all good? Yeah, I'm good. And you'll notice they'll like sit up.
okay,
And
that
start
actually
paying
is
attention.
much better for me. I think I'm a bit more relaxed like that. Like, I just heard this from someone, so I've been using it.
Yeah. I like, is everything okay?
Yeah, okay.
I'm a bit more chill. I like to be chill.
Yeah.
Any questions on that? Yeah.
So I was just going to ask, you mentioned it earlier as well, and kind of around timing on a call. So typically to go through that framework, what prior information would you have about the person you're speaking to? So do you already have a decent amount of context in terms of what their potential issues are and stuff,
Yeah.
or do you almost go cold into it?
So if it's a one call close for B2C, or even B2B to a degree, like if I was selling YouTube coaching, for example.
Surprisingly enough.
Oh, we got the same thing. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. Okay, sweet. Cool. So, like, you should know the person's name before the call. Roughly, like, it's good to know how much money they're making with the business, but you don't need to. You can find that on the call. My short answer is you don't really need to know anything. Like, if it's a one call close, like, you can learn basically everything off the call. The rest is, like, really just to qualify how warmish they are. But the amount of times people have lied on their forms about what they make, so I don't think you really need to know too much. You can find out everything on the call pretty quickly. Yeah. Cool. If there's nothing else on that, I'm going to move to objections. Yeah? Okay, sweet. So, for those of you that are, there's my pen. For those of you that are taking sales calls, this is a layup question. What objections do you guys typically get?
It's always fear, some form of fear.
Okay.
Fear of
Fear.
It's just figuring out what the fear is about sometimes. Like,
Yeah.
Does it mean, is it...
We're focusing on something else.
Sorry?
We're focusing on something else right now. That's like an objection.
Could you give me an example?
Say I'm trying to spread their brand or something.
Yeah.
And like, we're focusing on the tech side of the...
Right, okay, so that would be more like a time objection then,
Yeah.
probably. But yeah, okay, yep.
Actually, I had a unique one the other day. Second time I had it, I need to pray on it.
Yeah,
So what does that mean?
let's think about it, but yeah,
Okay.
okay.
Divine intervention, is it that they're looking for like a sign that it's the right choice for them? Is it?
I don't know how to respectfully handle that because that's just things. Of course it is.
We'll dive into it, but essentially it's just a responsibility thing. Like they want to put the decision on someone else that's not them because they don't want to take ownership.
Whether they trust themselves to do the work
Yes.
is a big one.
Yeah, I like
It's
that one.
They understand the program, they have the money, but they're like, am I actually going to do this?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yep.
ones as well.
Yep, value.
And then other coaches.
So competitor? Yep.
Can I add one to the list that I might get through email? Is like,
Yeah.
there's so many options. What makes you different from Duolingo or yada yada? Like,
Yeah.
that might be another one. Like, how are you different?
Yeah, cool. So that'd kind of be competitor. Okay, sweet. So for like offer call, it's slightly different, so I'll touch on that in a sec. For on the call, no matter what objection I get, like literally any of these objections, I always start with one thing, which I think a few of you guys will probably know. So typically if you're handling these objections, what's the first thing you do?
Same thing you did with him. I don't know what you call it, tie down commitment.
Yeah,
Whatever.
I just call it buy-in, but
Buy-in,
yeah,
same
yeah.
thing, yeah.
So when we say buy-in or commitment, what we mean is like when a person gives an objection, if we just think about the state that they're in, what kind of state is that person in?
Panic.
Yeah, could be panicking.
It's rejection. They're in rejection.
Yes, negative. Yeah, they're in like a state of like, no, I don't want to do this. I want to get off this call. I want to give you a reason to not make a decision or to not do this right now. They're in a state of no. So the first thing, before any tacticals or any questions I'm going to say or ask, is I want to change their state. Super random, but who's seen that clip of Tony Robbins with the red shoes guy that was really depressed?
Yeah.
Anyone seen that? Yeah, okay. there's this video of Tony Robbins talking to this guy that says he wants to kill himself. Okay, the guy's obviously in a very low emotional state. It's very negative. Before Tony Robbins gives him any advice, the first thing he does is he uses a pattern interrupt to change the person's state. So he says, you know, why are you so depressed? And the guy starts stuttering and he goes, is it the red fucking shoes? They're really fucking red. And like everyone starts laughing. And even he starts laughing. So it changes his state. Then he gives the advice. Because then the advice is going to land so much better. So in objections, it's a similar thing. Before I want to say anything to the person, I want to change their state. Get them in a state where they're talking about how good my program is. Then I'll start handling their objections. So tactically how to do this, it would be like, yeah, no stress. That's the verbiage I use. That's the language I speak in. Like, yeah, no stress, no worries. Use language that you guys typically use so it sounds like you and you don't sound like Orlando or your favorite sales coach, okay? No stress. Before you go and X, you know, no worries. Like before you go chat with Rebecca or before you go have a think, before you, whatever objection they give you, yeah, before you go pray on it, you know, what we went through, like, does that actually align with what you want? That's how I say it. Other people might say, you know, do you feel like that can help you get to XYZ? Do you feel like this would help? Do you actually see that doing XYZ for you? A bunch of different ways. But the principle is get them bought in first on the program. 9 times out of 10, if you've done the rest of the call right, you should get a yes. Now, there's different types of yeses. This gentleman gave me a very like half yes. I was like, yeah, like, it sounds interesting. Yeah, I guess so. That's different to, yeah, definitely. So I might tackle that differently. But straight away, after I get a yes, it's then, okay, like, why? What stood out to you from your perspective? I don't want to put words in your mouth. Like, what stood out to you? What did you hear that has you feel like this would actually help? Then they'll give you reasons. Now, if they're vague with their reasons, I'm going to probe into it further. Because they might be polite. They might be like, yeah, I feel like it can help. Yeah, I mean, what you said in terms of the accountability and you know, the marketing, like, yeah, that would help. Now, depending on how they say that is going to lead me to handle it a different way. If they say it vaguely like that, I'm going to go, okay, like, what about the marketing do you actually feel like would help, though? And don't just be polite. Like, tell me what you actually think. I'll even say things like that to people. So they just really open up. Now, if they go like, yeah, definitely, then I can just move on to the next thing. Then, once you've got them bought in, once their state is changed, then I go into handling the objection, okay? So I can sit here and like give you guys word tracks and stuff. I think it's gonna be more entertaining if I just role play with you guys and just show you what I would do.
If they're uncertain as well, like in their tonality where they're speaking, is it a good idea to say to them like, okay, you do sound a bit uncertain there. What do you feel like couldn't help you? Why do you feel like it might not help you?
I like calling out the uncertainty. I'm a fan of that because you're calling out the pink elephant in the room, so you can actually start talking about it. I don't like asking them what they feel uncertain about, because if we think about what answer that's going to lead to, what are they going to start talking about?
Yeah, all their doubts and their fears and everything.
Yeah.
Or do you just shift that?
Yeah, like I don't want them to say all the negative things.
So I think I do that and then I handle the thing. So eventually we get over, but it adds an extra 20 minutes to the call.
Yeah, I mean, time's money. So like the quicker you can handle objections in an efficient way, the better. Because one, it saves you time, but also the longer you handle objections, the more exhausted they're going to get too.
How long should an objection handle be?
There's no right answer. It's prospect to prospect. Like if someone's like super cold, you might spend a lot more time objection handling than if someone's warmer. And again, that's why YouTube and nurturing the leads before the call is so important.
And let's say you get a definite yes. Would you still not confirm that with like in what way?
No, I would.
Like a why?
I would, yeah.
So both ways, either way, you're basically asking the same question after.
Yes. Yes, but depending on what they say after, like for their buy-in and how they say it, depends where I'll go. So
of the why.
Yes.
Depending on the why.
Yeah. Cool. Does anyone disagree that just role plays would be better? No base question? No? Okay, sweet.
I had a quick question.
Yeah.
So I've heard other people say that like you should do the objection handling like during, as in like there shouldn't be any objection at the end of like.
Yeah.
I think, would you say that's the case, or would you say that naturally there are always going to be objections at the end, and then you just have to deal with them, or do you try and?
Yeah.
And I guess it also depends on what you're. If you have like a YouTube channel and there's that nurturing before that's going to eliminate some objections. But yeah, what would you say?
Yeah.
Would you say, let's leave it till the end. Let me do
Yeah.
Stuff.
It sounds way sexier for me on Instagram Reels or YouTube to say you should never get an objection. If you're getting an objection, it's because you're not good enough and you need to buy my program. Like, you will always get objections no matter how fucking good you are. Like, they'll always happen. You can definitely prevent objections from coming up. 100% you can. But no matter how good you are, you'll always get objections. So I would just never have the expectation that I'm not going to get objections. I always prepare for the worst, hope for the best. I'm going to try and prevent as many objections as I can and be as prepared to handle them if they do come up as I can. But, you know, I'll hope that they don't, and I'll do what I can to prevent them, but I expect that they will, so I can handle them. Yeah, yeah. But you can definitely prevent them through that discovery process and how deep you go. Cool. Who wants to role play? Who wants to be a volunteer? No?
Quick one,
Yeah,
Fernando.
yeah.
Just before we get into role plays, my biggest objection that I get right now is because I set a tripwire offer where you can buy a low ticket supplement in my case, and my biggest objection is, oh, I just want to try the supplement and see if that works.
Yeah.
So the way I handle it at the moment is, do you feel like you'll get more results with just the supplement or the supplement and the coach? And then when they say yes to that, then I can sort of sell them, but
Yeah.
more often than not, they're not wanting to do that.
Yeah, so like a DIY objection. I want to do it myself.
Out
Yeah.
of the lower ticket.
Yeah, is that on Committed or VShred? Yeah, cool. I'm pretty familiar with that offer. I have a few guys I coach on there. So there's two ways. One, you want to prevent it as much as possible. So just for context for everyone, the objection essentially is like, I want to try this by myself. In this case, it's I want to try the supplements before I get fitness coaching. If it was YouTube, it might be like, I want to try and grow my channel first. I want to try and learn Italian on my own first. That's basically the objection, DIY. So there's two ways to handle that. One is ideally, like most cases, to prevent it. So in my overview section that I touched on before, one of the questions I'll have is, why not do it by yourself? Now, I don't say it like that. The way I word it is, you know, I'm a firm believer, like anyone can lose weight on their own and get to where they want to be with their health. It's just a matter of, you know, how long it takes, how much trial and error they got to go through. So for you, like what's got you like even considering outside help rather than trying to do it by yourself? Or rather than, now I know with your case it's slightly different, I'm just making it a bit general. That's how I would prevent it. Now in your case, because they've already bought something to fix it, it's a lower ticket thing to what you actually sell. What you want to do is seed doubt in that thing. So the way you do that is, have they bought supplements in the past? Have they tried, you know, working out or losing weight on their own with, you know, maybe not supplements, but have they tried that on their own? Have they tried that with other programs? Did it work? Obviously not, because they're there. Why didn't it work? What do they feel could be better? And then in the pitch, it's like tailoring it to all those reasons. Does that make sense?
It does, but I feel like the supplements have really, really good marketing, almost too good.
Yeah.
So that if I try and seek doubt, they're like, are you trying to say that the supplements don't work?
Yeah. So the way I teach my other guys that are on that same offer is you can get away with a little bit more in terms of telling, where it's like, hey, like supplements are great, but they're not going to do the work for you, as I'm sure you can understand. You know, the supplements are amazing, but like if you go to McDonald's every day, what are the chances you lose weight? Probably pretty slim, right? And then going into like why they haven't been able to lose weight or get to where they want to be in the past with other things they've tried. And then in the pitch, you have to be really certain that the supplements aren't going to do the work for them. And you have to really say like, hey, I know you bought the supplements, but in your case, based off what you said, because of X, Y, Z reason that it didn't work in the past, the supplements are not going to work for you. You need this for that offer specifically. I don't want to spend too much time because it doesn't apply as much to everyone.
No,
but
I
yeah.
actually think that's a really useful one.
Okay.
Because like if you're providing loads of free value, I'm pretty sure most people here, like especially YouTube guys and everyone is going to be providing some insane free value.
Yeah.
I always get people hopping on the call, basically saying that they haven't had the free value that I've provided before.
Interesting.
And it's given them so much clarity.
Yeah.
That they're then like, which is why we're kind of switching slightly to more insight.
That really is an upstream issue, in my opinion. Like, especially for coaches where you're giving value, like that should be handled in that do-it-yourself question. Like, hey, like I put out I'll say this on my offer, because I sell sales coaching, right? I give a lot of free advice on YouTube. I'll say like, you know, I put out a lot of free content. There's a lot of people that put out free content on YouTube. Like, why not just be a YouTube university guy?
And you say that because you mentioned saying this in the overview, why consider getting out, what have you tried for, how long have you tried?
Yeah.
So that if you come down to that section, you can basically go on to that, like, well, you've tried for this long now, like this, that.
If needed. So, yeah.
You also do it in a form before? Did you say like before?
No, not in the form.
No.
No. For this one specifically, for DIY, it's like, one, I ask that question. I also do something else that's like slightly more advanced, which is I'll label the person. So let's just quickly role play the DIY thing. We're earlier in the call. So you sell, is it fitness coaching or no?
Yeah, but I'm going into helping fitness coaches
Scale. Sweet. I sold on a niche like that for 10 months with Zach Perner. So cool. So you be the prospect, I'll be a sales guy.
Yeah.
Cool. Ned, like, you know, I think there's a lot of free stuff out there online, and I think anyone can grow their PT business to 10K a month on their own. It's just maybe a matter of how long it takes, you know, how much trial and error you got to go through. Like for you, like what's got you considering outside help rather than just going through the free stuff?
Well, I actually hadn't really seen enough free stuff, and like now that I saw yours, it's super valuable. Like, I think the main thing for me is starting to post content based on that like structure you mentioned.
Yeah. Yeah, and in terms of posting content, like what's got you considering like professional help though, rather than just like watching the YouTube videos on it?
I think it's just to get more, like know exactly where to start and what action I need to take.
What do you mean?
As in like understand exactly what I need to do.
Mm-hmm. Do you not feel like you could get that online?
Yeah, I do, but I just feel like I would understand even more if I had someone guiding me.
Yeah, okay. What is it about the guidance that you feel would actually help you though, specifically?
So it would just mean it would be tailored to me.
Yeah.
So I'd know that if it, like, I mean, the YouTube will give a lot of the guidance, but that tailoring to me will like give me that extra step of knowing exactly that it applies to my situation.
Yeah, it's cool that you think like that. It's actually refreshing because I speak to a lot of, you know, PTs that they're helping other people lose weight, but for some reason, like they don't want to put their hand up and ask for help. You know, they kind of let like the ego get in the way of like saying, hey, I actually need help with this. Someone that like has kind of put the ego to the side, right? Because like the guys that just let the ego get in the way and they never ask for help, like where do they end up?
So you're labeling me as well.
Yeah.
Okay, where'd they end up? Yeah, I guess like with fitness coaching, they stay fat.
Yeah, well, even with PTs, right, that like don't get help with their business and they just try and figure out everything on their own. Like, where do they end up?
Yeah, I think some potentially successful, but like a lot of the ones I see online that do really well seem to always have a coach.
Yeah, okay. I mean, it's cool that you think like that, because the guys that even get there on their own, like, why not just be one of those guys that tries to be a lone wolf?
Like, I am thinking about it, but I just want to get started really, and I just think I'd be better if I had.
Okay, if you say so. Like, I would move on past that. Yeah. But like, I've labeled you. I've also gotten you to tell me all the reasons that you want help rather than doing it by yourself. Now, if it still comes up at the end, I'd argue that's a smokescreen. But a lot of people don't go that deep in the DIY section of the call.
Yeah.
Do you think it's important to ask him, like, why is it important for you to not be one of those people as well?
I really like to do that, because what I want to do is like, it's slightly more advanced, like, but in terms of like labeling people, what I essentially want to do is like take this belief that's like good and like this belief of like other people that's bad, and I want to get the prospect to tell me why this belief is bad. Because if this person is basically talking shit about this belief and like why it sucks, it's kind of incongruent for them to get to the end of the call and say the same thing.
It's like they're protecting their identity then because you've like labelled them
Yeah.
a specific way.
And honestly, like, this is kind of like a psychological trick you can use in your personal life as well. Like, if you want people to do things, you praise them for being that way, right? Who's heard of that before? Like, if someone does a behavior you like, you're so good.
Oh, you're so good at putting out the dish, putting out the rubbish.
Yeah.
You should do that more often.
I love how organized you are. It's actually really cool how you keep the space nice and clean. Like, we're basically taking that on a deeper level. So like with Anson, like when he's recording me, I'm like, dude, I love how you get those angles of me, where you get like my left side. It's like way better. Cool. Okay, we got about 45, 45, so, or 35. So I want to speed run some objections. A lot of you talked on no-shows and like improving show rates. I want to touch on that. And then what you can do pre-call to increase that. So let's just do one objection role play. I do a load of objection role plays on my social media, to be honest. Quick plug, quick CTA right here. So if you guys do want to see that, it's on my Instagram. It's just my name, orlando.santucci. Same for YouTube. So if today's not enough for objections, like you can just look at that. But let's do one. Who wants to give me a random objection?
Price.
Yeah, price objection? Okay, sweet. So you be the prospect, I'll be the sales guy.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Channeling my inner 50-year-old woman.
Yeah, so tell me the price objection. What do they say when they give it?
It's usually around, I'm on a fixed income, I'm on a pension.
Yeah.
So my monthly or my weekly payments, I can't afford it. But then I might go back to them with like a price plan or a payment plan.
Yeah.
But it's like, I'm not sure, I'm not ready.
Yeah. No stress. Like money, like aside for a second, like the actual layout and structure of the course to teach you Italian, like do you feel like that would actually help you learn Italian as quickly and efficiently as possible?
It's such an interesting exercise to step into the shoes of a customer.
Yeah, it's fun.
I've been using Duolingo for like a year now. I've got a streak, and but I just don't feel like I can speak Italian yet. I'm looking for something more structured, and I like you have Italian heritage. You seem really bubbly.
Making me blush. Okay. What about the actual structure do you feel would help you though? Like the actual program itself?
I want more structure because I don't feel like I get that. I get like random words and phrases on Duolingo, but still can't speak.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's the missing part.
Yeah. And in terms of the money, like, is it a case that like you've got the money, it's just maybe like it feels like a lot right now, or it's more so like you want to do this, you just don't physically have the full amount ready to go? Like what's closer to the mark?
It's a good question that I personally wouldn't know how to answer.
Usually it's one of two. Usually it's like, yeah, I've got it, I'm just a bit uncertain, or it's a lot. I've got other things I want to spend my money on instead. Or like, yeah, I really want to do this, I just don't have the full investment. If you're selling high ticket.
That.
Okay, cool.
I really want to do it, I'm just probably going to be a bit of a stretch.
Yeah.
Financially.
Yeah, I get that. If you actually learnt Italian and like you were fluent, so that when you went to Sicily and you're like on the beach talking to some locals, like you actually could communicate with them, like would that be worth $500 you said?
347.
Would that be worth 347? Like if you actually got there?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, why would it? I know you mentioned like the structure and the program itself and why you like that, but investing 347, it's not nothing. Like investing that into learning Italian, why would that actually be worth it?
Yeah, I feel like I've travelled to Italy a few times before, and sort of like that missing piece. Like I always kind of fumble through conversations, and it's sort of like that missing part of when I'm travelling. It's like that bit that I've never fully been able to experience.
Yeah.
Is that language part and the connections and chatting to people.
Yeah. And like when you come into the course, like do you believe that you would actually do everything on your part to learn Italian so that you can actually get there? Like if you did invest?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah,
Okay.
I've been pretty good, consistent with Duolingo. I feel like I could be.
Yeah.
Could do the same with the course as well.
Okay. So what do you feel like you need to do to like put yourself in the best position possible? So when you go to Italy, you're not one of the, fumbling gringos, but you can actually like speak Italian fluently.
Yeah, I need to, make the investment. I need to make that decision and be serious about it, not just sort of mess around with things that haven't been giving me results.
Yeah, because if you just keep messing around with the things that haven't been working in the past, like, what do you think will happen when you go to Sicily?
Have a completely different experience.
Yeah. So what do you feel like you need to do?
I need to train on programming.
Boom. But like, even at the end, like, I'm very like soft at the end, because again, I want it to be your decision. But yeah, does that help? Seeing that in action? What's that? Pray on it. Let's have some fun. Okay, cool. Give it to me. What? Oh, whoa. Okay. Give me the objection. Jesus.
Have you asked them, like, what does that mean to you? Like, what does that mean to pray on it? Like, did that get specific about what they mean?
I was battling around the whole fear objection for a while, and then at the end he hit me with prayer, and I just kind of gave up at that point. So I didn't even bother too much to handle. But yeah, I'll show you how it's going. So, do you want to drop the price or something?
Yeah, do you want to rock and roll?
Yeah. You said 5K, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I've got 1.5K at the moment.
Mhm.
I just don't really feel like it's safe for me to invest that kind of money.
Yeah. No stress. Like the program itself though, like does that actually align with what you want? Because that's the most important thing in my mind. Okay. What actually stood out to you, just from your perspective?
Just the fact that I don't want to be in this position anymore. I've been doing this for 5 years now. I don't want to be a teacher anymore. So.
Well, what about the program itself do you feel would actually help you get away from that though?
I guess learning from people that I've already walked the walk and done what I want to do.
Okay. Okay, cool. And so with the money, I know you mentioned like you might not have the full 5K available, which is, I understand, you know, that's part of the reason you're here, right? So you can make more money. I guess if you did have the 5K, it was in your account, you could do whatever you want with it. You could go to the pokies, you could invest it in coaching, whatever it was, like, would you still do this?
I would do. Because I want more for myself.
In what sense?
Fulfillment from my life. I want to make more money. Get married soon as also I want to start saving for that.
And if you were able to do that because of this, would that be worth 5K to you?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So in terms of the money, like what we could do, because not everyone has the full investment ready to go, that's part of the reason they're here. If we were able to break that up so it's a bit more digestible for you, would that be a conversation you're open to?
Yeah, maybe in a few weeks. Maybe in a few weeks.
What do you mean?
Like I said, I've got 1.5K right now, I get paid at the end of the month, so it's probably a lot safer for me to revisit the conversation in a few weeks.
Do you mind if I offer a perspective around the money?
Yeah.
People who have gotten what they want in general in life, whether it's Walt Disney or, you know, whoever it was, like, does everyone who was successful, did they all have the money to get started before they actually got successful?
I don't know.
Can I share a perspective?
Sure.
There's a lot of people that didn't. Like Walt Disney, for example. I mean, he started Disneyland, but he had to go to over 100 different banks physically, in person, before we could just apply online with a few buttons and ask for a loan, right? But the difference with him is that he got resourceful. He didn't use the lack of money as the reason not to do something. He found a way to make it work regardless of not having the money. So regardless of you not having the full 5K, like, is you actually getting to where you want to be important enough for you to actually get resourceful around the money so you can make it work?
You're good at this, man. This is what I wanted to learn from you. But I feel like I just need 24 hours to just pray on it. That's how I typically make decisions. So.
No stress at all. Whether you do it today, tomorrow, next month, next year, doesn't bother me. But like getting resourceful, is your goals, is that actually important enough for you to get resourceful?
Yeah. But this is just
Well, why is it though? Because for some people it wouldn't be. And they would just always use the lack of money as the excuse and the reason they can't get to where they want to be.
I just don't like the situation I'm in. I just can't settle for it anymore. But this is how I do things. I'm a religious person.
No stress. Yeah, no stress at all. I mean, you mentioned being safe as well, right? Like, what's safer? Like taking a bet on yourself so you can learn the skills so you can make more money, or just not doing anything and just saving the money? Because how long did it take you to save $1,500?
6-7 months.
So what's going to help you save more money quicker? Learning how to make more money, or just keeping your current income and like trying to save what you can from it?
Smooth. I like it. I'm done.
But like, I didn't even handle the pray on it. Like, and I was ready to if we had to go there, and I could show you how to do that. But we can keep going if you want. Let's say, cool, that works. But like, now give me the pray on it, and I'll show you how to do that.
Yeah.
And then we'll wrap up objections.
Yeah, I get it. But like I said, this is just how I do things. I'm going to go and pray on it. I'm a very religious person.
Yeah, no stress at all. Like when you go and pray on it, let's say you're Muslim or Catholic or okay, cool. Let's say you go, you know, pray on it, and you get the signs and the communication that you want to do this and that He's okay with you doing it. Like, what would you do then?
I do.
Okay, you would. Well,
I
why?
haven't done that.
Yeah, no stress. But if he did, you would do it.
Yeah.
Okay. You sure you're not just being polite?
No, I wouldn't.
Okay. Let's say you go chat with him and he doesn't want you to do it. You get signs that this isn't the right thing to do. Like, what would you do then?
Still consider it,
Why?
because I know how much it will change my life, and my family's life.
Yeah. Because ultimately, man, because like I'm religious as well, like probably in a different sense, but like ultimately, who does it actually come down to you? Who does it actually come down to see results from this? Like, is that you or is that going to be God doing the work for you?
It's the man in the mirror, me.
Yeah. Because like, does God reward people that just expect things to happen to them, or does he reward people who go out there and get after it themselves?
Action takers.
So who do you need to become today so that you can not only serve yourself and the people around you, but also him? Cool. Yeah? Cool. Sweet. Yeah.
So in the 2-call setup, do you give them the price before they end up going onto the second call?
No, definitely not.
So if you're explaining to them the price point of your service and it's high ticket, are you then getting them to close on the call, or would you prefer them to, like, what's
This is in a 2-call close, right?
In a 2-call close.
Yeah.
So if they're seeing it for the first time and it's high ticket, and they quite often need to think about it, is your goal to get them to commit to paying on the call?
This is on the second call, right? Yeah, 100%. Absolutely.
What if they need to look through the contract, they bring you something, they need to speak to
Objections.
them?
That's a sales skill issue. Yeah, that in my opinion, that's a sales skill thing.
And on a high ticket offer, you are confident that you can just get them to pay on us.
Yeah.
That's all he does.
Absolutely.
He only sells that ticket.
Yeah.
Do you need to frame pricing a little bit on that first, like at any point before that?
I think if you've got enough pain, enough urgency, and the gap is there, you've got emotion and logic, in my mind, there's no reason to delay that decision.
In what way can I teach someone closing that allows them to not be on the script? It also has some element of efficiency to it.
Yeah.
Even if they've gone through closing mentorship, because that mentorship might have happened on an e-com offer or something before.
Yeah.
And now they're on my offer, it has differences.
Typically when I'm training people, I start with beliefs. I start with like their mentality around sales and then their beliefs around the questions they're asking, because that's going to flow into the tactics. Then in terms of the tactics, what a lot of people do when they teach sales is they make it like too specific and they bombard them with like all these questions and this in-depth script, and it just causes confusion. What I would say is you want to simplify the process as much as possible to start with and then expand as they're in it. So like, for example, close, that's pretty simple and easy to follow, but the longer someone's working with me, the more in depth I'm going to take that training, the more specific I'm going to get. So I would just take complex things and try and make them as simple as possible and then expand on them as they're longer with you.
Could you also share how I have this real issue with closing people on the call?
Yeah.
Because it just seems like, it seems crazy to join a call and then, I think it's a bit of an issue upstream.
Yeah.
But people don't necessarily know enough before they join.
Yeah.
But I feel this real fear of like, putting the checkout link in the chat.
Yeah.
And people paying there and then.
Yeah.
How do you actually is that the goal, to get people to pay on the call?
Yeah. It stems from a belief thing.
Yeah.
So there's something internally where you believe them paying on the call equals bad.
Yeah.
There's something there that equals bad. So if I was coaching you, I would start on that belief where it's like, okay, what is it about, like what do you feel uncomfortable about asking them to pay on the call? Just be honest and open.
It's the idea of like parting with potentially 6K or 9K when you weren't necessarily prepared for that beforehand. And I'm like, that seems like a big jump.
Yeah.
Like within an hour to go from like not having 9K to then paying 9K and being like, whoa, coming off the call and being like,
yeah.
Should I have done that?
What's the best result you've gotten for someone?
They made 125K in like 2-3 months.
Okay.
She paid on the She paid on the call to be back.
Yeah.
She was like, she also knew me, she trusted me.
So that's one thing, knowing that your shit works and it clearly helps because you've gotten results for people. So that's one thing in the certainty. But it's also like, The reason I like people paying on the call even more is because I want them to change their way of thinking on the call with me before we start working together. Especially when you're coaching them on the back end. I do the same thing. I still take sales calls for my coaching program, right? So when I'm coaching these guys on the back end, I don't want them to come in with a broken mindset. I want them to come in ready to go, like full steam ahead, and they made the decision on the call that they're going to change their life and they're going to do everything they possibly can. So that's why I have so much conviction and certainty to take payment on the call. So like there's one thing for you, it's like the ROI they're getting is like insane, especially in that example, assuming they actually do everything they can, right? Because ultimately, like we said before, who does it come down to actually make your program work? So they've just got to decide when they actually want to succeed. And then it's on them, because you give them the same stuff you've given the other guy. So that's why in the call, you've got to frame it like, hey, are you going to do everything on your part? Because then it's like, if they join and they don't do the work and they don't see results, like they have no one to blame but themselves. And I've, like personal story, like I've had clients that have come through my program, not seen results, and we have a chat about it, and they'll literally say to me, dude, honestly, I can't blame anyone other than myself. Because like I sold them on that expectation. What I gave them isn't different to what I asked them on that sales call. So I'm coaching a lady at the moment who struggled with this as well, and she had this belief that like, she felt like she was playing God for these people because she had she thought she had their fate in her hands, whether she sold them or not. I truly believe I'm doing the person a disservice if I don't even give them the chance, because she was disqualifying a lot of people because she only wanted to put people through who she knew would do well. But she's taking away the opportunity from these other people. So I think you're doing a disservice if you don't give them the opportunity to actually do their part and win.
Okay. What do you think about like giving guarantees? Like,
I hate it. If it's done with you and it's coaching, I don't like guarantees at all. Because just like this thread we're kind of touching on, it comes down to them to put in the work. And if I have a guarantee from the start, like a lot of people say, if you come in, you attend X calls per week, you do this, this, and this, and you still don't see results, we'll give you a refund. I just don't like setting that frame from the start, because then people are coming in with the worst case scenario, I can get my money back. There's like, that holds people back. Again, like my internal belief is like people are going to do the best when they have no other option than to win. Like if people have no other option than to get out of debt and make the program work and make a shit ton of money, they're more likely to do it. And that's what I believe. And I would argue as well that like if someone comes in with the expectation that there's no guarantees other than themselves doing the work, I would argue that's going to help them get better results.
If someone will only work with you because there's a money back guarantee, it's not the kind of person I want to work with.
That too. Yep.
So I had a call the other day where the prospect was very, very warm. We got to the pitch and I pitched to him. I dropped the price, and I've always been taught to just shut up once you drop the price, right? Yeah. And then we literally just had a staring contest for like 2 minutes. And I was just like, yeah. But then I said to him, okay then, like, are you happy to draw the line in the sand and get this moving? What would you do in that situation? Would you just like diffuse it? Because we literally, I was just saying to myself, I'm not speaking. But they got so awkward, but I was just literally staring at it for 2 minutes.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I think there's a big difference between being the first person to speak and the first person to like actually speak, like ask a question. So I like to say things like, I see the cogs move in, but if you're like, how do you feel? It's completely different. So you can talk, but just don't be the first person to actually talk, is what I like to do.
Yeah, just jump in, as I say, I had a similar thing before where I was taught, you say the pricing and you're meant to just not say anything, talk yourself out of it because you feel uncomfortable, right? The way that I got around that was saying, it's 10K, how does that work for you? How does that sound? Because then you just directly ask them a question that they have to respond to. So you kind of really put the ball in their court rather than just having this silence.
You can also tell if someone's processing and thinking, or if they're just steady staring. Right.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Also watch the whole Rosie Reels, don't you? The first person who talks loses.
Yeah, how does that sound? Sounds so weak though, because I was using that, and then you go like, how does that sound? It's like you haven't got belief in your offer.
I agree.
That you're asking them how it sounds.
Yeah, we'll wrap up after this one because we got food waiting. Yeah, I agree. I don't like the silence after price drop. The way I do it is I actually price drop at the start of my pitch, but that's a whole nother wormhole. If you price drop at the end, I would just go, sweet, and it's 10K. Does that make sense? I just go, does that make sense? because then it gets a response from them. And then I go, sweet, in terms of next steps, we can process the payment and get you onboarded, get you rocking and rolling, so you can start making more money with the business. Is that cool, or what do you want to do? And then I just go from there. But I say it confidently.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, does that make sense?
That's better because then it's showing you've got conviction.
Yeah.
But it's like, does that make sense for you?
Yeah.
How does that sound? Like, how does my offer sound?
Yeah,
It's a bit like, now your offer sounds shit.
Yeah, like be confident enough in your price that the expectation is like, yeah, we get started. Like, that's the confidence. Yeah.
Do you always frame it as like, and the investment is, or what do you call the
Yeah,
process?
I usually go, sweet, so to get you from the point now where you're making like 4K a month to 10K a month, the total investment is 10K. Does that make sense? And then I go into it. Yeah. Sweet, we're going to wrap up, otherwise the food's going to get cold. So yeah, thanks guys, thanks for listening. And anything you have,
Orlando question. I was thinking, I don't know what your thoughts are about this, like obviously since work with you, close rates gone up and stuff, which is good. I was thinking about price dropping at the start of the pitch, and we sort of spoke about it a little bit before.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that? What needs to be done to make it work, and is it worth doing, or just keep it as it is?
Yeah. So I personally like price dropping at the start of the pitch, right before I pitch, because like my pros for it is that it's the elephant in the room. It calls it out into the open. And then for the rest of the pitch, it's not, oh, I really like this, but how much is it in the back of their mind? It's, okay, it's 10K, but that's really good. It's 10K, but that's really good. So they start to justify it. And then by the time you ask for the close, I feel like it's a more natural transition to then asking for it rather than price dropping at the end. For your offer specifically, where you're talking to maybe starter level business owners, I think you could do either, depending on your personal preference. If it's working at the end, then I wouldn't really change it. It's a minute detail. If you do want to test it, I would test 5 calls where you do price drop at the start and 5 where you do it at the end, and see if there's a difference. See what you prefer. Now, if you are going to do it at the start, this is exactly how I do it. So to transition from, say, that consequence part where it's like negative future, it's like, cool, like I know I can help. I've worked with too many business owners to not believe I can. I use this verbiage, but I'm biased, of course I'm going to say that. Do you want me to walk you through step by step how I'll actually get you to 10K a month so you can X, Y, Z, whatever outcome it is? So I preface it with that. They go, yes, show me what you do. Awesome. So the total investment to get you from 4K a month to 10K a month is 10K. Does that make sense? Yes? Sweet. Now in terms of what you get, and then I just run them through that. That's like the smoothest way of doing it.
Orlando, a question about pitching.
Yeah.
What are the kind of pitching 101? Like, how long should a pitch be? What's like a good framework to go through? Because I think some people say like don't go into too much into the details, into how it works.
Yeah.
It's like keep it high level.
Yeah. Really good question.
Outcome oriented. Like.
So I break my pitch into usually like 3 pillars. I learned this from my mentor. So it's usually like pillar 1, pillar 2, pillar 3. So if it was fitness, it would be like diet plan, workout plan, accountability. If it's YouTube, like when I did it for Oscar, I'm trying to remember what the 3 pillars were. It's usually tailored to what the person says they want help with earlier in the call, but it'll usually be pretty similar. So it might be, off the top of my head, like ideation, so like how to come up with video ideas. Then it would be how to structure the video itself, and then how to build systems so that you don't have to spend hours, recording and creating the videos. And then it's not a pillar, but then I go into how I deliver the coaching. Yeah. So then I go, sweet, in terms of how we teach those things, we have one, which are the pre-recorded modules. So that gives you the foundations, everything from A to Z. But that's only going to do so much. In terms of implementation, we then have coaching calls, 3 times a week where you can ask questions and X, Y, Z.
And you just don't go into like too much detail there? Just say that's what it
No, I keep it super high level. So whatever they said they want help with, it's like, sweet, you know how earlier you mentioned you want help with this, this, and this? Well, what we do is this. And for example, if it was YouTube, I wouldn't be going into, we go into 1 of 10, we look for outlier videos, and then based off that, we script don't touch any of that. The only thing I would say, if I was pitching that, is like, how you mentioned before, like you struggle to come up with video ideas? Well, what we do is I'll show you exactly step by step how to create like unlimited ideas that are going to work based off data. But you don't know how to do it. I'm just telling you what we're going to do.
It's the wow, not how. It's like, wow, you're going to help them do this, but not how you're going to do the thing.
Because I think this applies to a lot of coaches here. Like a lot of us, we think, and we were talking about this at lunch, right? Like we think if we give them more information and tell them how to do it, that one helps a sale and two helps them make a better decision. I would actually argue it doesn't, because what ends up happening is people overthink things, and a lot of the times they're looking for reasons not to do your program. So every time you answer a question or you give a bunch of information, you could be shooting yourself in the foot because you're basically giving them a reason that maybe they shouldn't do the program. So yeah, I keep it high level, what, not how.
I realised that I had like a terrible sales call. Someone else pitched me.
Yeah.
And I realised that they could have basically said anything about like how it actually works, but it's basically just show me to some extent that you have a process, and then I probably would have bought the thing. But it's just like I don't understand. So just so as long as it's like something safe, we can go back to that thing like you have a system, then I probably would have bought the thing. But yeah.
Yeah, and it's also how the person delivers it. So I had a student who jumped on a marketing offer, and he really struggled in the beginning because he jumped on and he kept getting like all these specific questions and he didn't know how to answer it because he wasn't the business owner, he was the closer. And I looked at the calls and I realized the reason he was getting so many specific questions is because when he pitched, he didn't pitch with certainty. So he pitched like, yeah, so, then we're going to help you with the ads. And then the ads are going to help. Like, it was just so lack of confidence. In the pitch, it's the one part of the sales call that you really want to speak with conviction. Like, 100% you can help this person. And that can help prevent them asking you like all these little nitty-gritty details. Yeah.
Great, thank you.
Orlando, what would you say the characteristics are of a 50K per month closer?
I think it's so loaded. Like there's so many different variables. Like offer is one, like how good the offer is, the timing of the market. But I would say what makes like a good salesperson are a few things. So one, like the conversational awareness. So to be adaptable, be like a chameleon in a sense, but not in like a sneaky way. It's like if a person is talking about certain things and you can pick up on what's important to that person and then tailor how you sell to that kind of prospect. That's one. I think like structurally, just knowing the process off the back of your hand, like every single question, specifically why you ask the question, what answer you want, and just knowing that. Because that's what allows me to like freestyle if I need to. Is like in the back of my mind, I know where I'm going. It's like chess, like I'm 2-3 steps ahead while they're in the moment. So that, and then mindset in terms of like, so many closers, they just give up early in objections, or they'll finish one call where they objection handled for like 40 minutes and then they'll take it into the next call and then they fuck up the next call because they took that energy in. So also being like neutral, where you're like detached, it's like you can only do so much on a sales call. You can't Tony Robbins everyone. Like you got an hour, maybe 2 hours, if you got time for it. There's only so much you can do. And it's not to have that as like a cop out for why you don't close them, but it's just knowing that so that when you don't close people, which will inevitably happen, you don't let it ruin the rest of your day. So I'd say those 3 things.
Orlando, I have a question if that's okay. So obviously you do a lot of like sales coaching, lots of people here do as well. And it's quite like numerical based, like, so if you want to take someone on, you can say, well, you're going to pay 4K or 10K, and you're going to go from earning 4K to 10K. With what I offer, maybe it's perceived slightly differently. So like, as Pierre was saying, like, how much I earned last year, if you told me, oh, there's this mastermind event happening this time last year, I'd be like, fuck off, no. But now it's like, okay, cool, I can see the perceived value. How would you deal with like, obviously maybe it's a bit more of a specific case when there's not like a quantitative number, like, oh, you will earn X month. It's a very clear like profit.
Yeah, I love this question. Yeah, so I used to sell like a lot of fitness as well, and obviously fitness isn't really an ROI-based offer. So with that, it's more of an identity sell. So with fitness, it's like becoming the person they want to become and how their life would be different. So for your example, what I would be going after is like, what is it about getting into Oxford that's so important to them? I think a lot of the time you can get deep enough to the point where you'll find out a lot of it could be like a status thing, right? They want to get into Oxford for status, for credibility. They want to be able to say they went to Oxford. You might get their parents would be really proud of them if they went to Oxford, and you might be able to get some deep answers there. So even though it's not an ROI, for everyone, I think you could go down that angle. And even with that, I would argue you probably could make it an ROI conversation. I mean, you would know better than me, but if they get into Oxford, that allows them to have higher credibility to probably get a higher paying job. So you could probably future pace it into an ROI anyway. Like if they get in, if they have a higher chance of getting into Oxford, which allows them to get a job that pays them, X amount per year, well, that's the ROI, plus the other identity stuff as well. So yeah, I think you can get pretty deep with it.
So I'm sure there's stats like on average Oxbridge students earn X much more. Probably leverage that.
Sweet, lovely, yeah. Because I presume it's easier to sell. Well, it's just like if I'm coming from it. Sorry, if someone's on a sales call with me, and if I say, "Oh, the numbers are hit," well, you can't argue with numbers.
Yeah.
Whereas if it's a bit more perceived, perceived value, I don't know.
No, I agree. It's definitely different. Like with fitness, you're basically selling them the idea that like, hey, you're gonna, stop doing all the things you like. You're gonna stop eating junk food. You're gonna stop, sitting on the couch and watching TV. You're gonna start going to the gym, which you don't like, and you're gonna go even when you don't feel like it, and you're gonna pay us money to do it. It's harder. It is harder to sell that than a YouTube coaching offer where you help people make X amount of money, right? So I think that's fine, but you're not going to change your offer. So it's just making do with the cards you're dealt. But I would say, yeah, you could make it an ROI offer. And even if it's not, just going after the identity of like what it is about the person that's able to study at Oxford. Like what is it about that version of themselves that they want that they don't have if they don't get into Oxford?
Cool, guys. Thanks so much for coming. That's everything for today. Really appreciate it. We'll just get some photos and then I think we'll call it a day there. Thank you.